Hey everybody, Steve Prziborowski here. Welcome to episode 83 of Reach for the Firefighter Badge. Episode 83 is going to build upon fire department written examination tips for success on game day or test day. So let's get going. As a reminder, my two websites have a lot of great free information on there to help you be the best you can be in your pursuit of the badge. Also available on my website is 2 of the 3 books for anyone that's preparing for a career in the fire service. Some great valuable info within. Now, let's get back to written tests. In episodes 37, 72, and 82, the last one, we discussed the basics of fire department written examinations, how to prepare, and how to act on game day, which is usually the first step of the hiring process in most fire departments. So, let's offer some more tips for success when it's game day. So once the test is done, we've talked previously about what to do prior to the test, during the test. Now let's say you're done. So you've finished what you think is all 100 questions. And then you're ready to go, time to leave and go home or go wherever. So when you think you're done, go through the test if possible. Like I said, if it's a computer-based test, you may not be able to go back and check your answers. That's the bad part, I guess, about computer tests. But if it's not a computer test, a written test, you usually leave yourself enough time to go back just to make sure, and make sure your Scantron's filled out correctly, make sure everything's bubbled in correctly. Just go through, it doesn't hurt. Make sure there's no marks on the test, marks on the Scantron. It's nice to have that peace of mind. Also make sure your name and key info is there. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but I've heard of stories where people don't put their name on there. Well, the nice thing is when you turn your information in at the very end to someone at the front door who checks you out, usually they're going to be the ones that say, hey, McFly, I need your name here. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, don't be that person. I've talked about answering all the questions, and that there's, like I said, no extra or rogue pencil marks on the Scantron that could be mistaken for answers, and you get them wrong now. Because, again, you got to get 70% to pass, 70 out of 100 in most departments, but you got to strive for the 90s. Because, again, some departments, to go to the oral interview, which is usually the next step, they don't take people usually that just passed. They usually take those in the 80s and the 90s, or it's just a random lottery that it's all fair game for any score. But you've got to shoot for the 80s, if not 90s. When you think you're done, before walking up front to check out, make sure you have all the testing materials to bring up to the correct person, because usually they'll issue a test booklet, a Scantron, maybe 2 number 2 pencils, maybe a piece of scratch paper to write notes on. Make sure you have all that stuff together, and make sure you bring it to the correct person. Regardless of how you did, don't leave the room happy or pissed. I mean, I've seen candidates that are walking out, it's like, fuck yeah! Dude, don't be that person. Because again, there's still hundreds, if not maybe thousands of people in the room still taking the test, and that's just rude. And plus, what I've learned over the years, every time I think I've smoked something, it was the opposite. I tanked it. And those times I think I tanked something, I actually did better than I thought. So that's just me. But again, just calm, cool, respectful. Don't be happy. Or on the flip side, don't be pissed. Fucking bullshit. Fucking, God damn it. We've all seen those things. And it's not just the testing room. It's once you get outside and shut the door and then you're in the hallway. Oh man, some stories over the years. Like, seriously, dude, again, you don't know your score until they send it to you via email or in the mail. So it's like, you know what? Just move on. When you're back in your vehicle, have something to document as many questions as you can for future preparation. One of the things I mentioned in previous episodes about written tests is that there's not a lot of different versions of written tests out there, whether it's computerized versions, whether it's written test versions, there's usually only a handful. And if you're taking every test you qualify for, which I encourage everyone to do, because you can't get hired unless you test. So you better be taking every test you qualify for. You're going to start seeing some of the same written tests time and time again, which is a good thing, because then you can build upon that. Now, they'll obviously probably tell you that you can't talk to anybody. They may tell you, you know, whatever, the legal things they have to say, but depending on what they say, you know what, go back to your vehicle. Unless they tell you not to do that, go back to your vehicle and have a pad of paper or something to document as many questions as you can. Not just the questions, but your answers. Get to the point where if there's 100 questions, that you can build up your own test, not to sell it, obviously, but to use as a study guide for the future, because you'll probably see that test again. And especially if you have any questions that you just were not sure about, like let's say they asked you about what's the specific gravity of whatever. And you're like, I have no clue. Well, you know what? You better write down specific gravity, because you better do some homework and research. And you better ask your buddies who took the test, go, dude, what'd you put for the specific gravity question? You know, That's how you get better at the test. Wait patiently for your results. Usually they will tell you like, hey, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get the results, so please wait patient. We will email them to you and send them US Postal Service or vice versa. Wait patiently. But here's the thing, know when the dates are, meaning if on the announcement they say, okay, the written test is August 1st, because this is usually what happens on the announcement, they'll say dates for the process. August 1st written test. And then they may say the next step is the oral interviews. Oral interviews the week of September 1 through 15. Well, August 1st written test, September 1st for the, say, the oral interviews. Well, if you haven't got anything by September 1st, that's a red flag. More importantly, if you haven't got anything probably a week before the oral interviews, something happened. It does happily on occasion where things, number one, get lost in the mail. So make sure, you know, that may be out of your control. But when they email things, you better be checking your junk and spam folder every day. If you're not checking your junk and spam folder every day, you're going to be potentially missing key things. I know when our department sends things out, it's mass mailing. There's no way around it via email. And I've heard a lot of stories of, well, I never got it. Check your junk and spam. Oh, crap. You got to, hey, besides a job, there also may be very valuable information in there. Like, hey, King so-and-so from whatever country wants to give you $20 billion if you just provide your social security number, your driver's license, all your personal information. Sorry, I digress there. Most of the stuff in junk or spam is just that crap. But you know what? I bet you once a week or so I find something valuable, not valuable, but something I'm glad I checked for. So again, pay attention, because when you leave the room and check out, if they didn't tell you, then ask the question. I may have missed it when you gave the instructions, but when do you anticipate the results going out? It looks like the interviews, are they still scheduled for the September 1st through the 15th? Yes. Do you know when we'll find out? Because I'm just trying, just trying to make sure I don't miss anything, and I don't want to bug you if it's premature. And usually they'll tell you, well, we should be sending things out next week. If you haven't heard anything by, say, August 15th, call us up or email us or come down or whatever it is. So again, because I've heard of people missing the oral interviews because they didn't check their junk or spam folder, or maybe something got lost in the mail. And it's like, well, sorry, they're not going to do a special oral interview just for you. I mean, they're moving on to another candidate, but wait patiently, but also don't wait forever. And don't be the one that calls every other day. Hi, this is Steve again. Any idea when we're going to have the results out? Again, guess what they're not doing when they're having to deal with people like you? They're not doing their job, which is trying to maybe score the test and process the test. So please, I know, let them call you or email you, but also there may be a time where you say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bug, but especially that's why it's nice to have friends that are in the testing process, because you can check with your buddies. Hey, Rick, have you heard anything? Yeah, I got the letter in the email the other day. Huh? I better check my junk and spam. Or maybe it's mail. Hey, Lisa, I got mine today. Hey, Tom, I got the other day. I haven't got mine yet. Did you got? Yeah, we got interview dates. I mean, there's a good example of, hey, San Jose Fire, I am so sorry for bugging you, but 3 of my friends have already got information about the next step. And are you still in the process of finalizing things? Is it, what are you talking about, Steve? So, I mean, sometimes, again, be respectful, tactful. Don't be, hey, you all screwed up. We get enough of that. Compare notes, like I said, with your friends, not just on the results, but also on the test itself, because you got to get better. You got to learn. You're not an expert in everything. I was not a mechanically inclined expert. I'm mechanically declined. Yeah. Most people are mechanically inclined. Well, not most, many. I'm mechanically declined. I married up because my wife is mechanically inclined, thankfully. But my point is, when it came to mechanical ability, I had to ask my buddies that I knew were mechanically inclined, that had experience in the trades. Hey, dude, how do you deal with that pulley question or the gears question? I don't understand it. And then again, so try to pick your friends wisely, and hopefully you have some smart friends that can help you out. Oops. Hopefully these written examination tips, this will be pretty much the end for written examination tips, but I got plenty of these things to keep you busy for a while and hopefully give you some of my voices of experience or words of wisdom, whatever you want to call them. Again, you got to shoot for the high 90s. You can't settle for the 70s. You got to be the best that you can be to set yourself up for success, to obtain that badge of your dreams, because nobody else will do it for you but you. So as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. Please don't hesitate to reach out if I can be of any assistance. So until the next episode, take care, be safe, everybody. Have a great day.